So I'll just cut to the chase. I'm here with Dave Aguilar and Aaron Cloutier. Just very impromptu. Just we'll call it what it is. It's a bullshit podcast. There is nothing planned. I don't know what we're doing. Aaron doesn't know. Dave doesn't know. I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary anyway. But
I like the fact that you brought in two people who were like, hey, let me get two people who are good at knowing what they're doing.
Not knowing what they're doing, bullshitting. And you know what? You guys make me feel good about my hair. So that's a big plus.
Apparently that's what I'm here for. Yeah.
So, let's do some pleasantries. How you doing? How are you, Dave, today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm drinking Long Island Traveler Hotel tap water while I do this podcast because I'm doing the most sad and lonely middle-aged activity you could do, which is to be a 51-year-old dude doing sales travel in a hotel in Long Island. Wow. No, there's nothing more sad than this.
When you described what you were drinking, it just it started off exciting and then it just got more and more sad because I thought you were going to say you're drinking Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
And,
that would have been great.
Yeah. Aaron, but then you're like Long Island.
No, I just went
like hotel water shit crap that I went outside to the sewer and I filled up my glass because that's I had to be sad.
Yeah. It tastes like lead and sadness. That's what I'm drinking.
What part of Long Island are you in, Dave?
I'm in Huntington, I think it is.
Oh, I like Huntington.
Right outside of Melville.
I know Huntington. Huntington's good. I've seen a couple of concerts there. I think they were both Primus.
And what's even better is that's cool.
Yeah.
It's even better is I get to hang out with the crowd of older sales guys. So there's a lot of conversation about property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to work anymore. And ironically, apparently there's a shortage on ammunition, which I don't know why that would come up in conversation, but I'm always surprised at how much
we have a problem.
I think it's because everybody around me bought it all. Where I live.
Where do you live, Aaron?
I live in Saratoga Springs, New York. And I've only been here for a few months, but I'm learning more and more that there seem to be a lot more guns than I thought there was going to be out here.
The farther upstate you go, right? The more guns you see.
But it doesn't make sense with the aesthetic here. Like it's not very woodsy. It's kind of city-like, but like a quaint city. It's not even like Boston is huge compared to Saratoga Springs. It's like this place is tiny, but it's got this quaint, peaceful little vibe. But yeah, a lot of guns. Like a lot of guns. All right, you know what? Can I share something right now that'll kick things off as far as the bullshit?
Please.
All right. So on Thanksgiving weekend, I think the day before Thanksgiving, just to kind of give some context, my car is not street legal since I moved up to New York State.
Share it with the world.
Yeah. So if you are listening right now and you can sell me your car, that would be fantastic. But in the meantime, this helps provide some backstory here.
Mm-hmm.
I've basically been living and working at home for 4 months after moving here. So I don't get out all the time. Sometimes I do. And one of these days where I just stayed in all day, apparently there was a shooting down the street.
Oh, geez.
Fantastic.
Which is good that I missed it, but the story is wild. So here we go.
It's also good that it missed you, by the way.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. But here's the story. So, and you can look this up afterwards. But basically there was a shootout on the main street between the local police and an off-duty Vermont deputy.
Wow. Wow. So it's like it was cops against cops then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So this off-duty deputy from Vermont was just hammered, apparently. I don't know all the details, but here is what I have taken away from the news reports that I saw. Basically, deputy dude rolls into Saratoga with his girlfriend He's armed, by the way, the whole time. He's off duty, but for some reason he can just conceal and carry. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's what happened. So he's drinking in the bar. He got into an altercation with some other drunk guy in there, and things escalated apparently, and then it spilled out into the street. The drunk guy throws the deputy up against a car. Deputy brandishes his piece like, I'm packing heat. He's trying to scare him off. What happened instead is that he encouraged the other guy to pull out his piece, and they start shooting at each other. Like, holy shit.
And this happened like down the street from your house.
2 miles away from where I live, and in a place where it's like, it might as well have been a strip, well, not even a strip mall, but like an actual mall. Like the downtown area is like an outside equivalent of a mall. It's just everything is pristine and clean and very nice and very safe looking, very unassuming, very touristy. Like, it's just like the absolute last place you would think there would be as like an OK Corral situation.
A quaint city, just like you said. Saratoga Springs, come here for shopping, shootings.
Maybe not stay for the bullets, but yeah, no, come for the spring water, stay for
too many guns.
There's more though. There's more. Yes.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that's how the shooting started. The local police came in, and apparently, as the report read, they tried to get the guy to put his gun down. They said they warned him 8 times. This guy was hammered, and like he just refused to put his gun away, put his gun down, surrender, all that. So they finally had to shoot him. So the cops shot him because they didn't know what else to do. And apparently there is video footage of all this stuff. Actually, I saw some of it. There was like police cam, footage, but then there's other footage as well. So yeah, if you Google that, Google like Saratoga Springs shooting Thanksgiving weekend 2022, something like that.
All those things together.
Apparently it was the first time in 26 years that the local police have actually had to use their weapons.
They have to go home and find them in the sock drawer.
It's like under the mattress
again on how to use them. It's like, all right, so
wait, your
just
finger here.
Point away from you.
Wow. So I'm sorry.
The sheriff was like, well, I gotta get home and find my gun.
26 years. It's like you shoot it and it's just like dust. Just comes out of just like not like
I thought that was pretty wild.
Not like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where they the bullets were like sleeping and they were on full force as soon as he opened the box. I hate when I come up with ideas and then I forget them when I talk about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's a common thing for me. But I am looking up here online because literally I have nothing planned for this show. And I'm glad Aaron told that story. He was able to fill up like 5 minutes of the show so I could think about what to talk about.
I'm a professional bullshitter.
So. Well, yes. Well, during that time, I wasn't thinking about anything. So I pulled up Google and I looked up things to talk about in conversations with your friends. And I found
that's, by the way, that's how every incel starts out on a date. Looking up Google. How do I have a conversation?
How do I talk to people? Well, there's different categories. There's friends, there's a date. How do you talk to your like parents or your daughter or whatever? And I'm not going to treat this as though I'm talking to my daughter, although that would be interesting. An interesting take on this discussion to have like my 2 daughters on the show who look like the 2 of you and sound like the 2 of you. And I don't know. It's just to me.
We'll put on wigs next time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that works for me. But I mean, we have some questions here that interestingly, I don't think this has anything to do with the podcasting, but it's like some of the questions are, do you listen to any podcasts? How did you meet the host? What's your favorite form of social media? Can I say, Dave, can we tell the story? Because, this is, okay, we're going to go with how did you meet the host? Dave, can you please tell the story about how you met the host of this podcast?
Oh, So my girl and I, well, actually, she does. I just drink at the events. My girl runs an atheist meetup group in our area, right? So we a mutual friend of ours, John and mine, Jen, shows up, and she and I became good friends. And then her husband shows up, and he starts coming to the event. He and I become good friends. Blah, blah, blah. We have a great time together. So she invites me to a party at her house. I forget the reason. I don't think there was one.
I think it was just like a spring party or whatever.
Yeah. And John's there with his now fiance Lara, right?
Yes.
And we're hanging out, and John's a funny guy. I'm having a good time talking to him. So we start playing this game called Telestrations. That essentially it's like you get a clue and you have to write it down, and then you draw it. And then you show the person the drawing next to you, and they have to write down what they think it is. They pass it to the next person and try to draw what they thought your drawing was, the previous drawing was supposed to be. So obviously, by the time we reach the end, it's like playing that game telephone. The picture has nothing to do with the original clue.
Right.
John was before me. Every goddamn picture he gave me was dicks. Every picture involved a dick. So funny story, family Christmas. You may have guessed, my family, the producer person like me, we're not like regular people, right? My mother's much like I am, my brother, my kids, we're all like this. So we break out Telestrations at the family Christmas dinner, right? And I said, 70 to 80% of everything is going to end up drawings of dicks. 10% are going to end up shit, and 3% is going to be tits.
So
in one of the rounds, the clue that my fiance gave me was the words "hot shit on tits." That was a real clue. The woman I'm going to marry gave me.
Wow.
And by the way, it was almost all dicks by the end.
That's that's the problem with that game. It's kind of like no matter what you do, no matter what you start out, you can start off with the most wholesome thing in the world, kittens flying on rainbows. By the end, it's going to be penises, testicles, testicle hair, tits, shit, grundles, whatever.
Wow. I just took it to the bridge.
Let me just fill up the next 10 minutes with this list.
I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure like I'm in my head, I like kind of cut away to the Dalai Lama playing this game, and he's like, I don't know why I keep drawing dicks.
It's everything is a dick. I don't know
about that, but I don't know if it's valid or not, because is there alcohol involved in any of these games? I would assume not with your family at that particular time, right?
No. My family. So my family is known as ACDC, the Aguilar family competitive drinking crew.
Oh, wow.
That is actually my brother's having t-shirts made for us.
All right, so this might prove my theory then. All right, so my theory is it devolves into dicks because as people drink more and more and more, whatever they're trying to draw just doesn't come out the way that they envisioned it. And then it starts to look a certain way. And then more often than not, people just think it's a dick because a dick looks like a bad drawing anyway.
That's how God invented dicks. He was I can't draw. This is like
God's shitty drawing.
So I do wonder though, like, if you're trying to draw a person wearing a hat, it's going to look like a dick. Like it's unless you know what you're doing.
It's a big funny nose with a raisin on it.
And look, these are his tiny little like big bubbly feet. I don't know, like this on the bottom. And
it ends up as dick and balls. That's it. Yeah. Every time.
I saw a graffiti many years ago. I think this was like the early 90s on a baseball field dugout. Someone drew a penis with like a face on the head, and he labeled it dickhead. I mean, I'm assuming it was a man who did that because I thought it was clever.
Probably right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Look,
I'm assuming it was a visionary who did that.
A visionary man. Okay.
Sounds like got it all figured out.
What's amazing to me is like, so I love history and archaeology, anthropology. It's one of my little side hobbies. It amazes me in archaeological digs, like from the Roman Republic, the graffiti, it's just dicks everywhere all the time. One day I got to text you a photo. I have a on my Instagram, I took a trip to Portugal, not this year, not 2022, 2021. It was a cycling trip, and went to some Roman ruins. And in the display, there was a whole display of Roman dicks.
Nice. like actual dicks, not like people who were jerks.
Sculptures of penises.
Roman
like a lot
dicks.
of them. A lot of them.
Listen, I was in Italy. You'll never see so many dicks as when you're in Italy. Because it's
well, this show just lost a lot of listeners.
It just lost a lot of listeners. I think this is 16 minutes in, and yeah, I'd be surprised if anyone was still listening right now. But onward and forward, excuse me. This is anyway.
We just lost a whole demographic. But go ahead.
A whole demographic of people who hate dicks.
All the Romans, like
all the Romans.
So a funny thing about this lineup, I didn't do this on purpose. I realized it later after I asked Dave to be on the thing, and then Dave said, "Can you do tonight at 8:30?" And I said, "Sure." I asked actually Will, and he was unable to do it, and I asked you, Aaron. It would have been the same thing. It would have been the same thing that Dave is going to be on a podcast with me about Stephen King's Misery movie, and Aaron is going to be on the podcast after that about Cool World.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited about that, Aaron? I'm sorry. I just want to know.
I'm excited about the opportunity to have a conversation, but I still haven't seen the movie, so
watch it.
I will be more excited once I do that. I definitely.
When are you recording this?
We're recording that on the 18th.
Oh, okay. You got time. All right.
Yeah. No, there's time. I would definitely say, like, of course, shit comes up, and if you're unable to do it, then you're unable to. It happens to me all the time. I don't think this is one that you want to miss, is basically what I'm saying, because that movie is so god fucking awful. And like, I'm watching it and I'm like, I can't believe how awful this movie is. And I feel like I should be saving this for the Cool World episode, but I'm saying it here anyway because fuck it, why not?
Because you've got extra.
Because I got extra.
You've got hate to spare.
I have an hour and a half worth of awful hate about this movie, and then some. So yeah, Aaron, I would recommend you watch this movie with a little time to spare in case you want to watch it again, because you were confused about how terrible it was and you wanted to make sure it was actually the right movie.
Was this one of those movies that's like bad intentionally?
It's hard to say. I don't.
Sharknado, it's supposed to be.
I think
it was just the 90s. It was just bad 90s movie, right?
I don't think it was bad intentionally, because I would describe it as so bad it's enjoyable. So, and I feel like if it was bad intentionally, I wouldn't be able to describe it that way. Because those movies that are bad intentionally, those are I would describe as like cheesy, campy, whatever. Right. But yeah, this is like, it seems to take itself seriously. Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell he was thinking with that role, but I'll save that for another time. I'll save it for a rainy day. Excuse me. I got the phlegm happening.
Have you ever seen any of these movies? What's the name? The movie maker, he makes his own movies. Neil Breen.
No.
Neil Breen. Oh, it's good.
It's good.
But the sad thing is, I think he means them to be serious films.
Oh, wait, did you send me those? I think was that you or was that Greg? I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't think I ever sent it to you. No. He's like a guy my age or older, but he's got like this mullet haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's just, it ain't right, man. I think he's also a salesperson like me too, by the way. In the real world.
Wow. Nice.
You see what happens to my people.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Greg. I'm pretty sure Howdy Doody was a puppet. So anyway, So we can kind of let me come up with a couple of questions because we are in the art of bullshitting.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions that you want to ask to add to the bullshit, please don't be shy.
I do. I have one.
Yes. Yeah, please.
I have one now. I read a story. I forget where it was. Some really old guy was admitted to the hospital with a apparently live World War I artillery shell. Guess where? Guess where, kids?
I gotta guess where.
Yeah.
Was it?
Sounds like the anus.
Wait. Was it in the anus or just the hiney?
It was deep in the guts. It was way in there.
Oh,
the bomb squad. But here's the thing. And here, listen, I do not begrudge an old man trying to find pleasure anywhere in any way he can. Consenting adult, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but there are alternatives. It's a live ammunition.
And also, I know it's a common thing in ERs where people show up and they're like, I have no idea how it got up there. We know this happens. Use something for the job that has a handle. Why don't people plan?
Or a little chain or a string.
Chain like a tampon, so you could just pull it out on the string. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Really got to plan better.
Some kind of fail safe.
Can you imagine being the bomb squad guy that had to show up on that scene?
I gotta ask. What
makes me want to pay more taxes, if you know what I mean? Just to try to see if it gets to them. Like, here's a little extra.
I think I do know what you mean. I want to know. I want to know though what the bomb squad did. Like the bomb squad came. This guy got shot, and it went all up into his like intestines and like colon and shit. And what did they do? Like they put on those rubber gloves and like snap just one. Kind of
the rubber glove that goes up to the elbow.
Yeah.
I mean, why do they need
It's probably exactly what you're thinking. Whatever you're thinking right now, John, is probably exactly that.
And then my follow-up question is, if that's it, why do they need the bomb squad for that? Why can't they just get a doctor or a surgeon to make their way up in like a fish,
Well, I mean, it was live ammunition, so
and we'll never know. We'll never know because I'm pretty sure after the bomb squad guy came out of the operating room, the reporters were like, so can you tell me what you had to do? And the guy was just looking at the ground going, I don't want to talk about it.
I have no idea how that got up there. I didn't have a handle on my bullet.
So what I want to know is why is it, how do people constantly get themselves in these circumstances? We all know it happens. Don't you prepare?
Are you talking about like the people who put things in their ass on purpose, right? Not the people who get shot.
Listen, you like your butt play, go have fun. I'm not going to knock anybody's,
The hell do I care? It's not for me, but if that's what you like, here, take this. This is a hairbrush, by the way.
Oh. Yep. And I haven't seen one of those in a long time, John.
Well, I'm not telling you what it is. I'm saying to the
You're
listeners.
Not telling me either.
Right. It's for the listeners' benefit. I'm not just going to say
the listeners who can't see it. Yeah.
Who can't see it. This is a very sharp hairbrush. I've used it on my scalp and it hurts. So
I think it's brutal.
Yeah,
I remember those. Those used to do a number.
That's
what took my hair.
Look at this. It's like half of a person's hair in this thing. So yeah. Anyway,
but you got the handle on the other end.
You got the handle.
And you know what? If you use that handle, the bristles will keep it from getting stuck inside.
And look what else you have. You have this hole right at the end of it. So you can
lanyard.
You can just tie something around and just boom, it gets stuck just like the tampon. Anyway,
I'm watching Aaron on the video and he's like, what is happening?
I'm legitimately getting uncomfortable thinking about this story now. Like the more that and now I'm seeing like actual objects and
things are happening.
I'm also trying to kind of like wrap my head around like what would
Jesus do?
No. uh, like what would possess somebody to go down that route with live ammunition or whatever it's going to be? And like the only thing I could think of is like maybe there's something along the lines of they get off on the risk element, right? Like they just took that whole thing the completely wrong direction, like the equivalent of like having sex in an airplane bathroom or something like that while everybody's there. There's an element of danger, blah 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 blah. Like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shove live
a gun at my ass.
I mean, maybe that's it, but I mean, the guy was like 84 years old. Getting out of bed could have met his risk. You know what I'm saying?
84 years old. I didn't know he was that old. Man. That's something. Now, okay, Dave. Maybe,
but wait, hold on. Let me just add this. It also is possible that at 84 years old, this guy's like done everything. So he's sitting there in his house and he had it on his like mantle, and he's like, "Well, I haven't done that before," and that's how he got into the ER.
Let's see what happens if I just shove this up. Oh, it goes in surprisingly easily. I said easily, really, really weird there, but easily. So,
well, you had an artillery piece up your ass, so you know.
It's
okay. You say it any way you need to get through this.
He probably said it like this goes up easily.
And then, you know what? Maybe he was just like, "Oh, I can't stand anymore," and then he sat down, and that's what fired the trigger.
All the way in. Oh God, I can't even.
And just goes to the emergency room. Now I'm just imagining a scenario where the bullet didn't go off, but he goes to the emergency room with this fucking gun in his ass. It's like, I don't know how that got there. Got a handle and everything.
It was the damn Germans. It was the Germans.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Doctors are talking to each other, be like, "Hey, you said that your dad still has Nazi bullets in his ass? Well, come check this shit out."
It's like, look, this guy has a gun in his ass.
All the way up Main Street.
Oh, boy. All right. And now, a word from our sponsor. Okay, so I want to now. I for future ones of these, just because I feel like this is experimental. Let's see what happens when I go in with nothing, and it seems to be pretty successful. Now we could do sober ones, we could do drunken ones. It's hard for me to drink these days because you never know. I have to be having like one of those perfect days for it to not make me sick, for it to not make me nauseous or give me a headache. But I want to get drunk and record, start off sober and get progressively more and more drunk and just talk about the bullshit, because this is experimental. As I said, this is we're seeing where it goes, we're seeing where it takes us, we're seeing where the wind takes us, and I want to do further ones where I get buzzed and then hammered and then like vomit violently for the rest of the night while still recording.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, because
that would be a great soundbite, by the way.
I was
vomiting,
something like that.
Incredible.
Dave.
We'll be right back.
Dave, you haven't heard it, have you? You haven't heard it. No.
What, you
aggressive?
No.
Me vomiting.
The most aggressive vomiting I've ever heard in my life. It's amazing.
Is it really?
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's angry.
I'm so angry.
I'm gonna take the time right now because this is what we do. I'm going to talk about me vomiting from drinking too much. Actually, just me vomiting in general, but usually if I'm not drinking, I'm not vomiting. So drinking too much and then vomiting. So Will and I, we were roommates for about a year. And toward the end of that roommate situation, Aaron was kind of moving his stuff in, and I was having my 30-something, 36th, 37th birthday party. And
I think so.
Yeah, whatever it was. It was 2018, so that would have been my 35th. Anyway, yeah, and I always had this habit. I would drink, and I'd be like, oh, I got a nice buzz going on. Let me drink a little bit more. Oh, I'm nice and drunk. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling loose and fast and free and good. Let me drink more. Let me drink more, because it can only get better from here.
That's how booze works.
Right. Yeah. It can only get better. And somehow I never caught on that after a certain point, it does not get better. And I just drank and drank. And then all of a sudden I would say, oh, fuck, I drank too much. And that's when the vomiting started. The vomiting and the sobbing and the just like, I don't want to be alive right now. And of course, and the funniest part about it is that Lara and I, we were just like hanging out in my room because I was quite ill from drinking too much. Everyone else who was at the party was just chilling out in the living room because they knew this is just what happens. Nothing to worry about. And yeah, and that's
meanwhile in the bathroom, it's like looks like a crime scene, and
well,
Exorcist in there with just all over the walls.
I was a surprisingly neat vomiter.
Oh, that's courteous.
I always got it right in the toilet.
Oh, your aim was true. Yeah,
it was a good, yeah, like, and it was just flush. Bleh. And then I would come out and I was just like,
don't worry, guys, I'm efficient.
That's efficient. Don't have to get those cleaning products. Not for this anyway.
I mean,
yeah,
I had never seen it before. And I do remember, I mean, I was drinking as well, so I was pretty in the bag.
Yeah.
So I was in a state of being where I was kind of, zen. So my reaction time wasn't like immediate, but I do remember being initially horrified for a split second. Like for a split second, I was just like, whoa, what the fuck is going? And then I feel like, I don't know who it was, but it might have been Will, where he
probably Will. Yeah.
He looked at me, he was just like, yeah, that's fine. Like,
don't worry about it.
One of those things, like, no, don't worry about it. But somebody did that to me. I can't remember who. And then I just remember just taking it all in, just kind of like witnessing. I'm like, wow.
It's got to the point now when Aaron sees you throwing up, he just puts on a white robe.
Yeah.
And sprinkles you with the power of Christ compels you.
I mean, that's the thing. When you know everything's okay, you take out your diary, you immediately record your thoughts because you're pissed ass drunk. You're not going to remember how you felt the next day. But yeah,
I feel like it was very cathartic for you, though. It felt like you were really, like purging some demons. Like,
oh yeah,
it was just like a whole soul cleanse. Just like, it wasn't just the alcohol. It was like there's all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, I can endorse this. This is good. This is healthy. Somehow this is healthy.
He's going to save so much money on therapy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He might have discovered a new form of therapy.
I can save all of my money on therapy for the price of 1 6-pack of Bud Light. Yeah. And because
if a 6-pack of Bud Light gets you to that point,
I don't even
have a metabolic problem.
I never made it to the 6th beer. Like I like 5
you just might be allergic to water. I don't know if you're drunk. That might just be allergy.
5 was the highest number I ever got to. I don't think I ever got to 6. But even 5 was a lot for me.
I mean, you've got a lot to live for, so that makes sense. So,
and it might just
I wonder what that feels like to have a lot to live for.
Exactly. When you grow up in a place like New Hampshire where we didn't have much to live for, we got up to the 12, 13, 14 mark. Easy. I was the lightweight of the group, though. I only got to 12.
Oh, is that it?
Yes.
But he also was 12.
So actually, I was not far off from that. Yeah, I was pretty young.
That's New Hampshire lightweight. It's not like the rest of the world.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely not that anymore. I definitely cannot do that anymore. Like I've had this is my second and a half beer of the evening, and I know how much I'm going to pay for it for the rest of the week because I'm 40. Yeah. And that's just what happens. That's just the new thing you do.
That's all you do, right? Yeah. So
you lose track, though. That's the problem I have is I'm so I mean, John, you've been with me at parties and social events. I love a party and I love getting together with people. I love going to parties where I don't know anybody except like the host. Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna meet new people. I'm like an idiot. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna meet new people.
Oh, look at the new people.
And then I get excited and I drink and I'm like, well, this is nice. And I keep going. Then I lose count.
And
then the bad time starts.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I guess because my tolerance was never high. So I guess because 5 would just like destroy me. Yeah. You don't lose count at 5.
Right.
So that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I would imagine you'd lose count at like 12.
That's strangely profound. What you?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like that should be on. Yeah, man, you don't lose count at 5.
You don't lose count at 5, bro. No.
It's true though. I mean, but that's also a very good thing in your case. Like, that's good that you're not pushing the envelope.
Well, like, it's gotten better and better. And when I say better, it's a little disappointing because now I can barely drink 1 without getting sick. So and I
think ultimately that's okay.
It's good. It's a good thing. And
you're not missing anything.
Right, exactly. And drinking 1 getting sick is not the same thing as drinking 5 getting sick for me. For me, I can't get to the point where I'm like just violently destroying the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you're going to get sick at 1 or you're going to get sick at 5, at least at 5, you had fun getting there.
Right.
At 1, you didn't have fun. You just got sick. So why bother?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I may drink at, my 40th birthday just to, I don't know, celebrate getting old or something. Who knows?
I don't know.
But
I mean, you're going to start to feel pretty bad pretty soon after 40. So you want to make sure you feel as good as possible until that point. So I don't know. Think about that.
It's honestly, it's already starting to happen for me. Like, and anyone who's older is going to be like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like Dave is thinking that exact phrase right now.
Oh, no. I do think that, but I also know that the guy who's 61 looks at me and goes, you ain't seen nothing yet, kid.
Everyone.
There is a point where you get to that point in life where your body doesn't really obey you the way it used to obey.
Right. Yes. Right. And like I said, it's small things now, things that can be recovered from. I remember I used to recover from, being sick faster. Now it takes a little longer. I sleep, and if I don't know, turn my head to the left, I have like a sore neck for the next 6 weeks. It's
dealing with that currently. I turned twice, so it's both.
If you're like, if the mattress is a little bit dipped, you can't walk the next day. It's
I'm literally dealing with that as we speak right now. Like literally, sincerely, it's all happening.
No, I believe you, and I'm sure it's a common problem for people who get older. And it's like, but the problem is, all you can do is listen to older people say you ain't seen nothing yet, but you don't know what it really means, because you're saying, man, I used to be able to do things so much easier. What happened? 10 years from now, I'm sure when I turn 50, I'm going to be like, man, I wish I could be 40 again.
I mean, some of it, I think some of it can be prevented. It just depends on like how active you want to be. How much like work you want to put into. My aches and my old man pains, a lot of them center around an old injury. So like that's my fault. But for the most part, if I stay active, I don't hurt too much. I often find that things start to hurt if I don't.
Well, like it's and I don't think it's coincidental that I was about to say it's funny you should say that, because it's not really funny you should say that. I started working out recently again, and I am feeling better. I am, of course, it's the same thing. I worked out in my 20s and I would like be in the gym for like 3 hours just constantly nonstop. I don't do that anymore. But, I lift, I try to shoot some basketball. I look ridiculous when I try to shoot a basketball, but I do it because it's fun. And
couple of arms, some chest. I start beating. I get the hell out of there.
That was good. That was Sebastian Maniscalco.
Thank you.
By the way, your basketball sounds just like me having sex. I look ridiculous, but I do it because it's fun.
But who's watching you having sex? Don't answer that.
Hey, I got a webcam. What can I tell you?
There you go. All right. I understand. I get it.
That.
But yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, being active certainly does help. And, it's nice to be able to do that after work, go and like, because, for the longest time, I was very inactive. And that's probably why, being old started happening for me sooner rather than later. And the good news is I'm able to undo those effects. I'm still young enough that I can start working out in the yeah. So yeah, but that's me.
But don't worry, I'm not sitting here
with. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Aaron.
I was just gonna say I cling to the illusion of like that guy that you hear who's 70 years old and he's still hiking mountains and he's still like running up trees and like he's so full of life and energy. I always hear stories about these people and I have to believe that they actually exist.
Sure.
And like it might not be true at all, but like I cling to the illusion. Like, all right, if I just keep doing stuff, maybe I'll be that guy. Maybe.
I see older people like in their 60s and, like they'll be walking around like without their shirt on, like in the gym locker room. And they'll be like, obviously like very like well in shape, but it looks like a clay mold that's been slowly melting away. It's like you still have your form, you still have your figure, and it's good, but it doesn't look as tight as it used to. Like those muscles,
the skin that's hanging it all together isn't the same skin as you had.
Right.
By the way, what kind of gym do you have that you go to the locker room and the old guys walk around with no shirt on? Usually it's no pants on and no towel. I don't know what happens to us when we hit like crack 70, where we're like, I got to let this free at any opportunity I can.
So this is not the gym that I'm in currently. The gym that I'm in currently is actually the JCC, the Jewish Community Center. And I'll tell you something. It's wonderful because, when Jews run the gym,
everybody's circumcised.
It's great. Everything's so perfectly clean and it's huge. It's a fucking enormous gym. There's 2 floors with like 8 rooms. I'm like, how did you even conceive of this? And everything is spotless. Like, how do you do that? How do you, I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, it used to be like in like the older gyms that I would go to. I used to work the night shift and I would be off work at 1:30 in the morning and I would get to the gym at like 2 in the morning. And there would always be that one guy, 65 years old, working out at 2 o'clock in the morning with the enormous muscles, but they look like they're clay falling apart. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
the good news is now you're getting older. You will now also be able to rack up a lot of medical stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A lot of good medical stories and shit that doctors have done to you and things that they've put their fingers in and stuff like that. So
I can't wait. I can't wait because, Dave, I take a page from your book. A lot of people, they make fun of themselves for being old, but you take it to the next level and you actually tell those stories. And you are just like Aaron.
There's no dignity in healthcare.
Right.
No matter what, somebody's sticking something in you.
You need
what
to,
I mean? That's
hopefully not live ammunition.
Right. You need to, if you can, go to one of Jen and Ellen's gatherings when Dave is going to be there, because it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to tell the story of the last time he had a finger in his ass, the last time he was bent over a metal table and he was like, that's it, I concede to this, because what else can I do? This is the only way that I can remain healthy. And that's That's
yeah,
Dave.
that's gonna be us. That's gonna be us pretty soon.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of, just trying to mentally prepare myself to fall on my proverbial sword. Is that too on
As
the
long as it
nose?
doesn't go up your ass.
Right.
No.
Fall on my live ammunition. We'll call it that. Yeah.
There's like I've always, it's one of the things I realized very early, and it wasn't even when I got old. It was like, it was the first time I had. So I don't know if John told you, I'm a cyclist. I race bicycles and
Right.
blah blah blah. So obviously, like with all sports and exercise, it's horrible for your health because you get fucked up a lot. And I had this one horrific crash. And at that moment, and I was in the hospital, I was a complete invalid. I couldn't do anything. And they're like, okay, I'm going to hold it and put it in the bedpan for you so you can pee. And I was like, thanks, sir.
And then you do that whole thing where like you're doing it and your eyes are just looking upward. Like, cause what else are you going to do?
Yeah. Or the other, when they put me on the commode so I could poop, they had to pick me up and put me on a commode. Or my ass hanging out so I could poop, and then they weighed it,
and I'm sure, pounds. And 11 pounds,
it was an 11-pound turd.
11 pounds, 6 ounces.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was so horrible. I filled up the commode.
Wow, and all the while you're just laughing. You're laughing at yourself. I don't know.
What can you do, right?
Yeah. If I don't know if in the moment you were laughing.
But, I was.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
No,
good.
Yeah. In the moment, I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is like, the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
This is literally the most vulnerable I have ever been in my life.
Absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
When I was a baby and naked, I was not as vulnerable as I am now.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Holy crap. Anyway.
That's the good times. That's the good times.
How long ago was the?
I'm sorry, Aaron. You just cut out there for a second.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that crash was, I would say, that happened 13 years ago. I would say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like 13 years ago that I had that crash. I mean, I've had many since. I'm recovering from one now. I shattered my hip back in July.
And
I turned 50, immediately broke my hip.
Wow. Tell us your first thought when you first got into that bike fall. What was the first thing you thought, Dave?
Oh, the first thing I thought when I crashed.
Yeah,
I was supposed to do a cycling trip to Spain in September, right? So I crashed in early July and I hit the ground. I go to get up because I'm in the middle of traffic. I'm on the double yellow line in a truck route. So the first thing you do is you're like, can I get up and get my bike and myself out of the way? So I sit up and I'm like, nope, I broke my hip. I knew it, like right there. Immediately knew I broke my hip. And the first thing I started doing was counting weeks. Let's see, usually a bone heals in 6 weeks. So from July 8th, that'll put me to August 8th. So will I still have, then it'll put me to the middle of August. I literally was doing the math. Traffic is going by. There's a lady pulled over. She's like, sir, do you need help? And I'm like, yeah. Can you call 911? Cool.
Please.
Can I borrow your calculator? Like, that's all I have on my bike.
Can I borrow your calculator? Wow. I love it. All right.
I'm used to smashing it. Now, at this point, you don't worry anymore. So
I did.
Okay, so we are, I think we're closing in on 1 hour. Aaron has a question for us.
This is the question about the accident that.
Oh, wait, I thought you had a question that you wanted to ask.
No, that was the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
I mean, I can ask another question.
Yeah. Anything off the top of your head, it doesn't matter to me.
Let me think.
All right. And while you're thinking, we'll play some Jeopardy music. And
oh, you know what?
What's that?
Not a question, but to go back on our whole, anger puking therapy idea. I had a great name for the website that we should all partner in on right now.
I'm count me in right now.
It's probably going to be a .org. If it's a .com, that would be great. But I think this has probably been taken already.
I got my money for it.
But since this is pioneering a whole new line of therapy, I think it should have the title of hatepukeyourfeelings.org.
Whoa.
People could just,
wow.
go there and like, yeah, I'll just tell like they don't even need there doesn't even need to be information there. It's all in the in the URL.
That hatepukeyourfeelings.edu.
I think there might already be a college where they just give away diplomas.
Yeah, I mean that's just what they do in college anyway. They all
right, yeah,
absolutely.
They just paint the walls
with puke.
Yeah.
Or green something. I remember being in college, and well, that was before I really started drinking, though. So, I mean, I wish I had drank and partied more, but then I probably would have failed. I probably would have failed out of college if I did.
Right.
But then I'd have more stories.
You have other stories,
in theory, but you might not have remembered a single one of those stories. You don't know.
That's true. I might not. But
college drinking gets extreme.
I saw Little Shop of Horrors on Broadway.
I like where this is going.
With my one of my college classes. It was like a drama class. It was a good show. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought the lady who played Audrey was really cute. That's I mean, I'm sorry, Aaron, you kind of built this up when you said I like where this is going. That's really the whole story, so.
Wow, I'm glad I waited around for that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe if you say it again, if you tell that again,
I wrote a paper.
It'll just be better.
I wrote a paper on it for the class, and I got an A- on the paper. So that means that I was paying attention to the show.
By the way, did anybody ever turn to you during the performance and say to you,
"Oh God,
feed me Seymour"?
Okay. So I'm gonna just tell a little detail. It's not even a story. I don't want to call it a story because it's not really a story. It's a thing that happened. So Alan, someone that I have been trying to get on the show, I've been trying in vain. He never seems to want to do the show. I've had Jen on the show. She's gonna do it again. I can't get Alan on the show. But anyway, he calls me one day and he says, "What size t-shirt do you wear?" And I'm like, medium. He goes, "Okay, bye." And that was the whole phone conversation, right? Like, cool. That was interesting. So, all right, whatever. Later that same night, Jen posts on Facebook, "We just saw Little Shop of Horrors." So I'm like, all right, okay. Now it's coming into view why Alan called me and asked me, "Okay, what size t-shirt do you wear?" And secondly, why it was such an abbreviated conversation. So months and months go by. I forget about this conversation in Little Shop of Horrors. On New Year's Day at my parents' house, we're all just hanging out at my parents' house. They give us presents, and I get a shirt that says "Suddenly Seymour" with a pair of glasses on it. Suddenly Seymour, pair of glasses on it. I still haven't worn it. I am looking forward, very much forward, whatever the phrasing of that is. I am looking forward to wearing that shirt for the first time because it will be so just like, look at me wearing my own name on my shirt that I did not buy for myself because my friends just do that for me. And I guess it was a story.
That was a story.
Yeah, it was a story.
Let me tell you something. If I had if I had a shirt like that it was like a good pun on my name, I would absolutely be excited to wear it.
What if I got you like a Christina Aguilera shirt?
It's not even my name.
I know. Well, you can cross out the A at the end.
You know what I would like? I got to see if I can find one, a t-shirt. Do you guys remember 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Mm-hmm.
The red eye of Hal the computer. and I would like to just have a shirt that has the red eye and the letters. So it says, "Just what do you think you're doing, Dave?" And I want that so bad. That I think would be very, very cool.
That was the one with the guy in the spaceship, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah. All right.
Pretty much.
How many times have you done this, Fry? You mean 0? I think I for some reason I'm remembering that quote. It might have been from something else. I don't know. And I'm remembering Fred Savage.
Fred Savage was definitely not on 2001: Space Odyssey.
Okay, well, I might be thinking about it
because that movie was made, I think, in either 68 or 69, in the time period just before Stanley Kubrick helped fake the moon landing.
Ah, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
I, this is why there needs to be stuff like a base springboard to talk. Like, okay, this is the topic of conversation, because I have nothing. My mind is totally blank.
I was going to ask you if either of you follow the show What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh my God.
Yes, I've seen.
That is one of my all-time favorites.
I'm wearing a shirt right now that the listeners won't care about this, but I'm going to show you guys.
Take it off.
Maybe you guys can describe it. Here's
take it off. He's taking off his shirt.
I was going to get some stack of singles, but then I realized I don't really have any money.
I got quarters.
This
Thanks, buddy.
my shoulder.
Jackie Daytona! Dude, that's fantastic.
I was so excited. When I found this shirt.
Oh my goodness.
And you just
human bartender.
And you just couldn't hide it.
Great.
So
that's awesome, dude.
Dave actually Dave is the reason that Lara knows about What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
She has watched all of the episodes that have been available. I've seen a few. I need to watch the show myself. She's always watching it while I'm like doing other stuff. So, and then I come home and it's like, oh, let's watch Schitt's Creek or Enola Holmes or something. I don't know. And
yeah, I forgot that I turned her on to that. I like to think of myself as an evangelist,
a matchmaker,
an evangelist for two things: What We Do in the Shadows and bidets. I really am trying to spread the new.
I have not confused, heard of this. I have not heard of this.
You never heard of him? Okay. No. It basically. How do I describe this? It's basically a water fixture to clean your ass after you drop a deuce.
Oh, bidets. A bidet. I see.
Okay, that I understood. I thought you were talking about a TV show called
Bidets.
I wasn't, but I'm thinking pilot.
New show starring John, Aaron, and Dave.
As bidets go by.
Bidets of our lives.
Oh wow, that's all right.
I actually have a neighbor that I got started. So I live in. John's been at my place. I live in it's a large apartment building in Montclair, right? And I have this one lady in the building, real nice woman. She was talking about her concern. She's getting like shoulder surgery, and she was like, "Dave, I'm kind of worried because I won't be able to reach the wipe." I was like, "You need a bidet." So we started talking bidet. Now the lady sees me in the hallway. She walks by and she goes, "Hi, Dave. Have a nice bidet."
Oh my God.
Wait, so
we need to get a t-shirt of like the face you just made the second before you said you need a bidet, and then have this phrase "you need a bidet" underneath your face. Like,
Dave, I definitely see your face on any sort of like shirt meme. You need a bidet. Have a nice bidet. All bidet and night. I don't know.
I'm very enthusiastic about bidets. My girl, fiance, she likes our bidet, but she is so sick and tired of hearing me talk to people about bidets. But to be fair, I've gotten so many bidet converts. Wow. I'm like John. What was his name? The St. Paul, the converter to Christians. That's see. Me. Everywhere. I just go.
Do you have a moment to talk about
bidets? Aaron, you're gonna get a kick out of this shirt. We showed you showed us your shirt. That's English, right? You showed us your shirt. So I don't know if you've seen this before, but I got this going on.
Oh my God. I was just watching that episode.
Vandalay Industries.
Vandalay! Say Vandalay!
So I had this conversation with Christina, as progressive people. I was busting her chops and I was like, so you're going to change your last name to Aguilar, right? And she was like, no, I've had my, and I was like, I'm totally kidding. You keep you keep your name. You've had that name for years and years. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh my God, you know what we should do? We should both change our names when we get married. And we were just joking around it, right? Because I'm not doing that shit because it's very easy because, the patriarchy that is designed to hold women down makes it very easy for women to change their names when they're getting married. It's almost like, here, fill out this line. Done. You're now your identity has changed and you now belong to your husband. So for a man, it is much more difficult. Name changes are not easy. So obviously I was just kidding. And we were thinking of things like Baggins, like from the Lord of the Rings.
Bilbo Baggins.
And then at one moment, like my eyes popped out of my head. And I was like, oh my God. She's like, what is it? I said, Vandalay. David Christina Vandalay. She almost went for it.
Oh,
she almost went for
it. I thought that was going to
be heroes.
I thought that was going to be a different story. I thought you wanted to change your last name to Bidet. Dave Bidet.
Yeah. She didn't go for that one.
No. Oh, did you suggest it?
I suggested it.
Of course you.
Yeah, you could open a business.
I'm going to start a church.
Bidets.
All right.
I'm going to start a church.
And this will conclude the bullshit. Don't miss our pilot, Bidets of Our Lives. Bidets of Our Lives. Is that it? Is that what it's called?
And the sequel that is slated to follow soon after, Bedazzled.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. I'm going to provide my Facebook information, and I want my message. I wish that many people would be listening to this so that my messaging system will be filled with bidet TV show ideas, like Bidets of Our Lives, and
Foreign Bidet.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we bidet in the shadows. Who knows? But so speaking of, you can find me on Facebook, John Seymour, JON space SEYMOUR. I am now playing the drums, holding 2 drumsticks, making an 8 with my fingers, holding up 8 fingers.
Yep, that's 8. Yep,
that's 8. This is 8 many. That's many. So there's that, and that very odd way of explaining it. So, of course, don't miss the Sign of the Four reunion, the Ronnie James Dio tribute band, playing January 28th at Lindenhurst in the Village Pub, or in Lindenhurst at the Village Pub, January 28th. We start at 8 p.m. Of course, don't miss Mad Tea Party, playing at Defiant in Pearl River, New York. We start that. That's February 17th. We start that show at 8 p.m. as well. And that'll be that for me. Dave, where can people find you?
So the easiest way to find me is, I'm not promoting anything because, I got nothing. But you can find me. I love making friends. So on Instagram, you can find me. My name on Instagram is basically just Dave. I'm not explaining my name. That is my name. Basically just Dave, all one word. And at this moment, I also want to take an opportunity to plug our show sponsor of the day, which is the Luxe Bidets. That's LUXE. I highly encourage you to make the small investment. It's only about $30. It's the Luxe LUXE Neo 120. That's like the entry-level model. You can go a little bit higher. You get the 130, which has warm water, because when you get those Arctic blasts and the water coming out of the tap is like 13 degrees.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you'll want the warm water.
You want that, yeah.
Luxe Bidets, LUXE.
Treat yourself.
Excellent. Treat yourself. That's another show. That's Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
Aaron, talk about yourself. Talk about yourself. That's a question, and where can people find you and stuff?
Because that always makes me comfortable. So
Mr. Narcissist.
Yeah. Finally. So you can follow me on the Instagram. My handle is at the Aaron Cloutier. So the AARONCLOUTIER. And the Instagram is kind of centered around everything relating to music education, all that sort of stuff. So you'll see everything from behind the scenes stuff on songs I'm doing for clients, the occasional, guitar riff noodly thingy going on. If you want to see stuff that's more involved in that vein, you can go over to YouTube and just punch in Faster Music Creation, and then my channel will show up. It's all just music educational content, all free. There is paid stuff there if you do want to support me, because I like to eat, but you don't have to. It's all free. So feel free to check that out.
I've seen you eat though. I've seen it.
Thank you.
It's a sight to behold.
Yeah, it's something else.
Aaron is eating. And
I've only heard you puke, but one day,
he's
got to fill up somehow.
Just in the window,
let me look,
staring you down. Yes,
get a glass toilet bowl, and then everyone can see it. He also, Aaron, when you order from the diners, you say, "Let me grab like a wrap or whatever."
Oh yeah,
yeah. You're like, I'm gonna grab a wrap. I'm like, that's a fun way to order. And of course,
I didn't know. I didn't realize
until just now.
Yeah.
And now my life is changed forever.
Let me grab a wrap.
And of course, don't forget to also check out our sister show, MSV Podcast presents The Fake and the Whimsy. This is I don't know when it's going to premiere. I think it's going to premiere some point at the end of January, maybe the beginning of February. But that's going to be a lot of fun to listen to. That's going to be Greg Vorob's project, B-side project, now that he is no longer doing MSV Podcast. And I guess that'll be it for tonight. And until next time.
It was a good time, guys.
I had a good time. And until next time, when we talk about more bullshit, I will bid everyone a farewell.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Happy days.